Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. I first want to thank Warren for getting me into this group and the committee for voting on me to come into this group. Also, after the meeting, I have photos that people can take of Wrigley Field and also decals from the Chicago Cubs that I hocked during my ushering time there this year. But let me get to my autobiography. I was born July 13, 1937, and I'm 72 years young. I have cerebral palsy on my right side, as you can see, and my parents were quite worried about this, so they decided not to have another child. I am it. I went to nursery school and kindergarten, and that was in a handicapped school in the Chicago area. I am from Chicago, Illinois. I started first grade school at regular school, my gym, and for the first 3 years, I went to a private physical therapist. The first 2 years are in high school, which was regular school. I went to regular gym as well as in grammar school. My last 2 years in high school, I became a baseball manager, which is keeping score, getting the bats and all that. And actually, I lettered in my senior year, and I still have the letter at home. We had a high school coach in those days, and I'm sure in the state of Illinois, it's probably in other states, you had the 10-run slaughter rule, and our teams were quite terrible. So the coach would always say, "Let's go home," and encourage us to make outs. When I went to college my first year at Navy Pier. Navy Pier was a 2-year institution, and it was really started to serve the veterans of World War II. And it has the world's largest campus, like Michigan. From Navy Pier today is 6 blocks long, and it is the biggest attraction in the city of Chicago with shops and everything, like the waterfront in Baltimore, Maryland. And in 1968, it closed as a college, and it moved to a 4-year institution called the University of Illinois in Chicago. One of the things about in Navy Pier was that I went to adapted gym. This was a gym that you played pool, ping pong, anything. You know, these people that were in there were mostly people with heart problems or didn't want to do exercises. Of course, we were graded on how many victories we won. I won very little, so of course I got the low mark. I was only there for a year. My last 3 years was at Roosevelt University, which is a transit school at that time in Chicago, where I got an accounting degree. I am not a CPA. And just last May, I had my 50th anniversary as a graduate at Roosevelt. And that was the first time the school did it. There was only 8 of us because most people probably figured, well, we'll get the cafeteria food again from those years. But they did give us drinks and a catered dinner, which was excellent. Now Roosevelt University is known worldwide, and it is in an area in the south part of our Chicago loop with DePaul University and Columbia College, which is a media college. And actually, it has kept the South Loop alive because Best Buy and Kinko and Cartridge World, they have stores there, and it's really their high profit stores. After graduation, I worked at a bank. My next step was at U.S. Bowling Lanes. This was a holding company for bowling lanes and tennis courts. I kept the books for the 5 bowling lanes, and I was there approximately 4 years. One facet of the owner was that his name was Neeson Harris, and he had a brother called Irving Harris who died at 91 in 2007. If there are any Chicagoans in the audience, they contribute to the performing and Dance Arts Center in Millennium Park, which is one of our beautiful parks now next to the Art Institute. Irving and Neeson's father came out of St. Paul. Their father started Harris Woolen Mills, and however, when the brothers came out of World War II, they didn't want nothing to do with the woolen mills, so they came to Chicago instead and thought that they would sell a permanent solution to beauty shops. Unfortunately, the beauty shops said no. So they decided to sell them directly to the consumer. And at that time, television started, and Neeson had a daughter named Tony. And that's where the Home Permanent was named after, and I'm sure many of you saw it on Arthur Godfrey's television show, which twin had the Tony, if you all remember that. And many of you saw commercials on that. And in 1950, the brothers sold that to Gillette for $25 million, which was a lot of money in those days.